Hey guys, welcome to ArtosisCasts. If you're feeling a bit of deja vu today, well, you should. Yesterday's video was Scan versus nOOB on Invader, and it's exactly the same here today. These two hit each other twice in a row on the ladder on the exact same maps. So kind of cool. They did switch spawning locations here. This is going to be a quicker probe scout here from nOOB. It looks like he wants to do a proxy gateway this time as opposed to a forward gateway. So going to be a little bit more aggressive coming out of him. Of course, that last game, Scan did end up winning with a nice 6 factory timing. And nOOB, I'm sure, remembering that he was a little bit greedy that last game. Now throws the pylon down. He's a little bit far out there, so not the easiest to scout. You might look at this and say, why would you put it here as opposed to up here? So if you put the gateway up here and Scan checks it quickly, you can actually send SCVs to kill it. When the gateway's over here, this is too far to send SCVs to. It becomes completely uneconomical to stop this rush in any way other than with Marines. So, you know, it's just... you can really do it either way. They're both playable. Like, even if they rush with the SCVs, there's like counterplays to that, right? But he decides to make it a little bit further out. This will last a lot longer, a lot harder for a Scan to kill off. Going up now. They are discussing that last game a little bit. I was mostly concentrating on the game, but I did notice they were talking about the Reaver a little bit at the beginning. Either way, Scan does block the block the probe this time. Now, he does already have his barracks underway, so he is going to be okay, but like, if you ever go gas before racks and they've sacrificed their economy completely and have a proxy gateway, you'll actually end up dying. In this position, I think he'll be all right. By the way, this Sim City is kind of interesting that Scan has set up. There is an offensive pylon. As soon as you see the pylon, you're like, very likely we're going to have Zealots in here soon. But yeah, this Sim City, there is a little place here where Marines can get through and nothing else can, so that's kind of nice. It looks like he's going to block off behind the mineral patch. Pretty good Sim City overall, and he actually gets the probe super fast. That was a very good kill on that probe, so that's a bit of a mistake by nOOB. You definitely want to keep that up. Now, the Marine comes out and will go after this pylon. He sees the Zealot. He knows that there's a proxy gate and will spot that right away. So... now these guys both have basically full info about what's going on. This is going to come down heavily to micro. Well, the one thing that we don't want to see from nOOB's point of view, if nOOB overextends the Zealot, it's very bad. Ooh, gets a hit right away. But yeah, if you wow, that was like a slide. It was like he was on a snowboard and went past the SCV as he hit him. That was weird looking. But yeah, if he overextends, then the second one won't be as powerful. But with high health on both, that's going to be pretty solid. What you can do is you can flank with the Zealots here. See, he comes in with that one. Now, this one you walk around so that if... ooh, that was really good micro from Scan. So, see, this is why you want high health Zealots. If the first one can force them to go down here, the other one comes around and flanks. Whether they come out this way or they go down through there, you can get a little bit of a flank. But right now, it's very low. Scan has done a good job with his micro. It looks like he's only taken 4 hits total on his Marines. It does take 3 hits on one Marine to kill it with a Zealot. And yeah, the factory, actually, he took the SCV off of there. That might have been a little bit of a mistake, or maybe he just wanted 2 at the ramp immediately. Definitely wants to repair. Been seeing that bug a lot where you tell 2 SCVs to repair and they just get stuck on each other. But he will fix that right away. Looks like the second gateway at home. This is a pretty standard follow-up to go 2 gateway Dragoon after a proxy gateway. The 2 gateway... oh my god, he has no idea that he's not building that. He has no idea. Huge mistake from Scan. This factory should be over halfway done. So this is going to be a lot later than what he was intending. That's tough because he's going to be fighting against 2 racks. I mean, a 2-gate range Dragoon. And the range Dragoons are just so cost efficient. He may need to do something like 1 base siege mode. Oh, man. He's talking about a bug now. Kind of a rough one. I'm not sure... what the play will be here for Scan. Like, I guess his gas is like okay. You know, because his factory's so late, I was nervous because he wasn't mining for a long time. But honestly, what it has to do with is how much you're mining as your factory's being built, right? So he can get the add-on and go siege and siege tank at the same time. But to push down a ramp that looks like this, well, he's got a good buffer of Marines. Okay, so that's one thing. But to push down this ramp against nonstop production of 2 Gate Dragoons, and I don't know if he'll go nonstop. It looks like he's stopping here to get his Robotech up. But, like, if you have 4 or more Dragoons, like, you do need to get up to 4. I'm actually a little bit surprised he's sitting on 3. There's the 4th. There's the 4th. And it's being built to the Proxy one. So the reason you want 4 guys is because 4 Dragoons, 1 shot a Marine, and 4 Dragoons, 2 shot a Siege Tank. So it's like, it's actually a very important number. 3 is, like, way weaker. But yeah, with 4 Dragoons and 2 Zealots well microed, I think you're going to need at least 3 Siege Tanks to come down the ramp. We'll see about that. Looks like Scan wants to push the issue right now. And this is a very clever move. He's trying to punish the units coming up the ramp. He was trying to drill through by right-clicking on his gas and then stop them behind the Dragoons. So the Dragoons got stuck. It didn't end up working out, unfortunately. nOOB continues to try to push here, but a Siege Tank is out. Can't go down the ramp yet. He's only got 2 Marines left over. He is starting to kill some of these units off, but still has those 4 Dragoons. Gonna push that back. As I mentioned before, you're probably gonna need 3 Siege Tanks to get down. Well, as these units start to bleed out, like, honestly, the 2nd Siege Tank is gonna allow him to go down. Oh, you can't lose that, though. You can't lose that, though! Ooh. If he had lost that, that would have been incredibly bad. You can't be losing a Siege Tank at this point in the game. So right now, this is such a funny position. Look at this. SCV count, despite losing some of those SCVs, is quite a bit higher than the probe count. He's getting this down. You know, I think that the 2 Zealots and 4 Dragoons did do a good job, right? We almost have a 3rd Siege Tank out by the time he's getting this taken anyways. But back at home, nOOB is going for a Reaver very, very quickly. He's got that shuttle. He's making a Reaver right now. And that's going to... Well, there is an eBay coming up. So, like, Scan is kind of ready for everything. Zealots being made. Notice how the Zealot goes up here. I think he's just going to hide the Zealots up here and pick them up on the way by with the Reaver. That makes a lot of sense. That Reaver a little over halfway done. And definitely he needs to get his probe production back up to par. Like, that's some pretty low probe production. Obviously, he cut some things to be able to be so aggressive early on. But Scan has done such a good job at recovering here. He is getting the speed upgrade. Honestly, I would like to see a push. Like, I mean, it can be very hard to read because you're not exactly sure what's across the map. But he's getting Vulture speed really quickly here. And he's about to have 5 tanks. 5 tanks with rallied speed Vultures. Get mines. Like, that's going to be pretty amazing. That can kill a lot of stuff. Oh, that was a terrible shot. He actually targeted the egg with his Vultures nearby. He lost a Vulture and took massive damage on the other 2. Oops! Everyone makes a mistake sometimes. Now... Here comes the Reaver, right? He hid these 2 Zealots up here as predicted so that he could just load this up and go directly in the main base. This is a very common path to go. You know, I mentioned last time, if you do build a turret here and float something, it does stop this move from being so deadly. But this is going to pop in. He's not going to see it till it's about here. So probably we'll see some damage being caused by this. Armory is already upgrading. And here we go. The Reaver drop does begin. All right, only gets 1 SCV to start there. Targeting that Reaver. Oh my god, he dealt a lot of damage. Only lost 2 SCVs so far. Very red Reaver as well. By the way, some Vultures out on the map with that speed upgrade. Doing a very good job with that. Oh, gets a Scarab off. It looks like that one's gonna bug. Yeah, and will not get the damage there. By the way, I see a lot of people that they're like, oh wow, the Reaver's so buggy. We call it bugging, but there's like a very specific way that the Reaver fires, and when you put it behind tight mineral patches, most of the time it bugs. So it's less about being unlucky there and more about you chose to go there and you were looking for luck for it to get through, right? It's kind of like shooting to high ground, except a little bit worse. So he backs up with that Reaver. 3rd Nexus is coming. Worker count is about the same, but that's generally good for Terran. We are a little bit late on the factories, but Scan is going to start to add them. I got to tell you, I haven't been seeing as many Scan games lately. I've definitely casted a ton of his games over time and I still talk to him regularly and all, but this is some beautiful play from him in both of these games against nOOB. Like really, really solid, just blocking everything and finding like this one moment where he has some real opportunities on the map. And that moment right now, well, he thinks it's right now, right? Moving forward, the 2 Reavers being microed nicely, the very hurt one behind, kills off some Dragoons, doesn't really lose his tanks, which is important. He takes quite a bit of damage and backs up. No more anti-air here either. If he still had that Goliath, that would be a little bit of a different story. You know, having even just one anti-air tool will stop the shuttles from completely destroying you. If you micro correctly, of course. Going up to 6 factories. And see, that's the brilliance of what we see here. The fact that he pushes back, right? He pushed up, lost a couple vultures, lost a Goliath, but killed off some Dragoons. And now backing up into more of a defensive stance while letting his 6 factories start to produce. That's exactly what you want to see here. Let's look. 5 gateways and the robo. So production right now is very, very similar. But don't forget, the tanks scale up like pretty scarily, right? Like once you start to get 8 to 10 tanks, that's a very, very powerful number. And then you just kind of flood vultures out to block. And that's good, solid play for this type of mid-game timing. There are some Goliaths on the way. Looks like he wants to try to block this incoming Reaver drop, kind of expecting this to come in. nOOB gonna turn around and fly out. Right now, Scan repairing. His Goliath's coming out with that range upgrade almost done. So 4 Goliaths, 2 shot a shuttle. It's a very good number to have when you have that range upgrade. Has +1 attack done. 1-1 on the way here for nOOB. nOOB is taking his 4th base, but has more gateways this time. But I do have to say, looking at this, there's no Zealot legs. Kind of surprising that he has 2 forges going right now. But I think Terran's army is just a bit too strong, right? Like, this army doesn't look like it's going to fare that well. Like, if these tanks are in siege mode, the Dragoons are going to be plastered. We don't have a lot of Zealots as of yet. Yeah, he has a couple of Reavers in the shuttle, but those need to slow the army on its approach. Not, like, look, he's getting into the position he wants already, and the shuttle hasn't really slowed that, unfortunately. Now, here we go. It comes up with those shuttles. Going to drop the Reavers out, looking for some good hits. Okay, gets a couple good hits there. Brings up another shuttle, but it has no units in it, and everything going to get absolutely plastered. My God. Really good play from Scan here. GG, and Scan ends up 2-0 over nOOB here on Invader. Really some excellent play. I do want to just go back and revisit for a moment, because I feel like I learned some stuff watching this game. The way that Scan recovered from, all the early aggression, if we jump back right about there, I think, right? So, okay, no, just a little bit more. And of course, if you don't dig this, a lot of people have been saying that they liked some of my end game analysis, so I'm trying to add a little bit in it when I see something interesting. Here, a little bit more, sorry. Let me show you this. But yeah, of course, turn it off if you don't want to see. But if you want to see the part that I think is the most interesting, best part of the game, here it is. So notice how he's retaking the space, right? And he's getting the speed upgrade as opposed to the mine upgrade. So if you look at Scan's position here against nOOB, so nOOB has a lot of information, right? He's the one that's been attacking. He knows the second this is landing. He knows when the SCVs are coming. He knows exactly how many units there are, right? He has a ton of intel. For Scan doesn't know quite as much. He doesn't know. It's like you could be going Dark Templars. You could be going Reaver. You could be going more gates. You could be going third base, right? So what does he do? Well, he gets the eBay because he has to, and then he gets speed because speed is going to be the #1 thing that can help out in dire circumstances. So what are some dire circumstances here? Well, if you're building turrets around your base or wherever, maybe it's just a 3-turret setup for anti-DT, and your opponent is going for a fast third nexus, well, that's bad for Terran, right? Because you're getting all this defense and not doing anything. But he's getting the Vulture speed upgrade very, very quickly here. So what he's doing is like, okay, we'll defend with the siege tanks. We'll get Vulture speed. Vulture speed will give him a ton of intel because he can check the entire map and see how many bases. And then he can work from there. So I feel like this was a really critical moment in this game, where Scan wasn't being too greedy. He wasn't being too aggressive. He's saying, we'll defend, but we will also get some map vision and possibilities for harassment. So I think that this was a great moment, a great learning moment for any Terran to look at this as a way to come back in a game where you don't have a lot of information. All right, anyways, guys, I've rambled enough here at the end. I hope that you enjoyed this game, and thank you for watching.